everyone, Morgan Hibbs here with Linn County Farm Bureau. I'm excited to be visiting a classroom virtually, so this looks a little bit different than usual. Usually I'm in your classroom visiting monthly, but I'm excited to have the opportunity to be able to visit your classroom virtually. So today we have our first month's lesson in September over Intro to Agriculture. So agriculture is things that grow on a farm, like plants and animals, and how important it is to all of us. So out of your classroom, how many of you have ate today? Hopefully all of you. Hopefully you had a nutritious breakfast. And if you did not, raise your hand. Hopefully you will have lunch. But even how you got to school is involved in agriculture. So our school buses could be fueled on soybeans, which grow in our fields outside. So agriculture is so important to all of us. Now today's lesson will be an intro to agriculture of things, living and non-living things that can be found on a farm. So we have our first book, The Living and Non-Living. You have a video, a read-aloud video of this story. If you have not listened to that yet, I encourage you to go listen to that first. It is available in your lesson plan. But living and non-living things, let's just review. The living and non-living things, the world is full of living and non-living things. Living things can breathe, eat, grow, and move. Those are the four things that living things can do. They can breathe, eat, grow, and move. Now, there are both living and non-living things found in our world, and there are both living and non-living things found on a farm. So today's activity is going to be looking at some of those things that you can find on a farm here in Iowa. So we are going to build a terrarium. Can you say that word? Terrarium. A terrarium is a habitat of both living and non-living things. So an environment that consists of both those living and non-living things. So we are going to add some things to our terrarium. So this is the container we will be building the terrarium in. We will be growing a couple different seeds. So if you have a kit in front of you, you have some of these materials in front of you. If you don't, you can go and find some of these similar things, or you can watch the video to see the experiment demonstrated. So we have a container, we have soil, we have rocks or pebbles, and then we have 3 different kinds of seeds. We have grass seed, corn seeds, and soybean seeds. I also have water here. And in the lesson plan there is a observation sheet so that you can draw and color what you see in the science experiment. Okay, let's go ahead and get started building our terrarium. So first we have our container here, and we need to put the rocks in the bottom. The rocks are going to help to filter out the soil, so when we water it, the soil doesn't stay too wet. So you just want to fill the bottom with rocks, any kind of rocks that you have. These are clay pebbles, but you can use rocks that you find outside. You can use rocks that you have in your landscaping with teacher and parent permission. You just need a few rocks at the bottom. Now, thinking back to the things that our living and non-living things need, are these rocks living or non-living? You're right, they are non-living. They don't need to breathe, they don't move, they don't change, they don't grow. So the rocks are non-living. Okay, now we're going to add some soil. So take a cup and add the soil to your terrarium. You just want to add a couple cups. This is just potting soil, but you can add whatever soil you have available. If you want to go dig up some soil in your backyard, you can do that as well. So I'm going to fill it about a quarter of the way full. So now the soil, is that living or non-living? Well, the potting soil here is non-living. It's made up of minerals and rocks that can't grow, they can't move, they don't need to breathe, they don't eat. But there might be, if you went to your backyard and dug up some soil, you might find some sticks that are left over from trees. Those were once living things. You might find some insects or some worms. Those would be living things. So there is both living and non-living things in our soil. Okay, so now let's plant our seeds. Now the seeds are kind of tricky. Are they growing right now? No. Are they breathing right now? No. Do they need food? Not yet. But as soon as you want your seeds to start growing, you need to provide those things to it. So right now, it's kind of dormant. It's not living yet. But pretty soon, if we give it the things that it needs, the water, sunlight to make food, air, and soil and space to grow and things like that, your seeds will start to grow and they will be a living thing. So we are going to add our grass seed. So I have it on a spoon here. You just want to sprinkle it in, spread it around. You don't want it in one spot, into your terrarium. Next, we are going to place our soybean seeds. Soybeans, we grow lots of soybeans here in Iowa. Soybeans are used to feed animals like pigs and chickens. It's also used to make biodiesel, which goes into our school bus. It's used to make vegetable oil. It's also used to make crayons and tofu. So soybeans are in so many things. So I'm going to drop our soybeans into our terrarium. Make sure you spread those around as well. And then last, we're going to add corn to our terrarium. So corn seeds, these corn seeds are field corn. So we grow lots of field corn in here in Iowa. This is not the same as sweet corn. I love to eat sweet corn in the summertime, but we really don't grow that much sweet corn here in Iowa. Most of the corn you see out in the fields, like right now I'm looking out the window, is field corn. So field corn is used to feed animals like cows and pigs and chickens. It's also used to make ethanol, which is a type of gas that goes in our vehicles or our cars. And it's used to make over 4,000 different things in the grocery store, like cornstarch, corn cereal. It's used to make, even M&Ms have corn in them. So corn is very important, field corn, to our products that we use every day. So I'm going to drop corn into our terrarium. Just make sure you spread those around as well. Then I'm going to take another cup of soil and cover our seeds up. You can probably put 2 cups of soil on, but you don't want to put too much because you want some room to grow. I'll put maybe half of that. You want the plants to have room to grow. And then I'm going to spray water. Is water living or non-living? It is non-living. It doesn't eat, it doesn't grow, it doesn't move. Now if I want to help these plants grow, where should I place it? By the window. You're right, I should place it by the window. That way it can get the sunlight to help the plants grow. Okay, when you have your terrarium water, you can start to draw what you see. So draw what we added to our terrarium. Draw the rocks, the soil, and the seeds. Then you can also draw the sunlight, or you can draw the water that we added. That way we know when we come back to this what the terrarium looks like and how it's changed over time. Okay, and then we have our worksheet here, living and non-living things found on the farm. So cut the pictures out from the bottom and glue them to living or non-living. So we have a chicken, a dairy cow, we have a water and a hose, we have a wheat, bucket, tomatoes, and a fence. So work on this worksheet individually. Thank you, everyone.